All right, so we've returned with some more fish, and today we're going to be going over an ultimate starter guide for those of you that have been reaching out to me over on Discord, as well as in my comment section asking me a bunch of different questions. I figured I'd go ahead and give you guys just the quickest little breakdown of how you can get from pretty much having just a flimsy rod all the way to having your Trident, which currently is considered one of the best rods in the game. Arguably, some people will tell you that Aurora's better, some people will say that Trident's better, and then you have the small little percentage of people that are kind of delusional and say that Destiny's better. But the point is, I'm going to give you guys a quick breakdown on what you should be doing from the moment that you jump into the game for the very first time, and I'll also squeeze in a couple of different ways that I made a lot of money, that I currently make a lot of money, and even some hidden locations like totems and secret caves and all that good stuff. We're going to go over everything. So let's start off with the very first thing being the moment that you jump into the game, which you only are going to have a flimsy rod and pretty much be landlocked to this area right here being Moosewood. Now, technically speaking, you could go ahead and jump on someone's boat or have a friend take you to any of the other different islands if you really wanted to. But honestly, my biggest suggestion is going to be to come up here, grab as many quests as you can. There is a couple of quest givers all around here. You got this guy over here, which is Phineas. He'll actually give you what I believe is a one-time quest. And then on the left side of him, you have the Moosewood Angler, which this guy gives you repeatable quests. Unfortunately, they are sort of behind a cooldown, but both of these guys are going to give you some pretty decently useful stuff. I mean, you're probably not going to do a lot of their quests once you get out of Moosewood, but at the very beginning, at least it gives you something to chase after and sort of a goal. Now, again, some people are going to agree, some people are going to disagree. I'm just sharing with you the way that I went ahead and did this, where I was basically able to go ahead and get my Trident Rod in give or take about 15 to 17 hours. And once you've gone ahead and fished here for just a little bit of time, go ahead and accumulate 2,000 cash. Ironically, the first rod that you're going to buy right after your flimsy rod is going to be the Carbon Rod. Totally not a biased suggestion here, but definitely a great name. Now, the stats for this are going to be negative 10% lure speed, 25% luck, 0.05 control, 10% resilience, and a max kg of 600. This is going to be a great rod for you to be able to go ahead and sort of get used to the entire fishing system. Unfortunately, it will be sort of short-lived because you're going to replace it fairly quickly, but in order to go ahead and purchase the Carbon Rod, it's going to be here in Moosewood. Just head on up to where Phineas is. Right across from him is going to be the merchant. To the left side of the merchant, laying on the table, is the Carbon Rod. 2,000 cash, like I said before. Purchase that and then get right back into fishing. Now, at this point, you honestly have two options. You can stay here in Moosewood and accumulate 7,000 cash, or I guess maybe a little bit more than that, more like 8,500 cash. And you're also going to need to be, I believe, level 5. That way you can go ahead and purchase the surfboard and make your way over to Roselet. The 8,500 cash, like I mentioned, 1,500 of it is going to be to buy the surfboard, and 7,000 is going to be to purchase the steady rod. Now, the beautiful thing about this game is that once you do end up having some type of transportation, you're going to notice that there's little symbols floating all around the area around you. You have to sort of leave Moosewood in order to actually be able to see them. But the one that you're looking for is Roselet Bay, right over here, which is right in front of Moosewood, a little bit to the left-hand side. This is going to be where you buy your steady rod. Make your way over to the kind of like merchant camp right over here. Once you arrive here, you're going to find that there's going to be a merchant, a shipwright, as well as this guy right up here, which is the blacksmith. To the right of the blacksmith, there is a rack. On here, you're going to find the rapid rod as well as the steady rod. Again, this one is 7,000 cash, and the stats are as followed. You are going to be unfortunately having a little bit less lure speed with a negative 60%, but your luck will be increasing 10% from the Carbon Rod that you had before with a 35%. Control is also going to remain the same. Resilience will be increasing, which is going to help you a lot, especially since you're going to be doing a lot of farming here on Roselet, because it's one of the greatest ways to make a lot of money with the manta rays. Now, the max kg on this is absolutely insane. It allows you to be able to get some really big manta rays, which in turn makes you a lot more money. One of the biggest differences that you're going to see from using this rod is that your entire UI is going to sort of change a little bit. More specifically, I'm referring to the shake feature. So if I go ahead and cast this out, you'll notice the shake button is much larger now, and it's sort of a passive ability that this rod has. It's going to make it a lot quicker if you are one of those people that clicks on it. For those of you that use the accessibility feature, in case maybe, I don't know, you're like myself, where you have pain on your wrist and you can't be moving around, constantly clicking around, you can't go ahead and cast out your line, then press on the camera on the top right hand corner, press backslash on your keyboard, and then S and enter. Just keep doing that over and over again, and this is going to help out if, like I mentioned, you're one of those people that potentially has some sort of accessibility issue. If you don't have an accessibility issue, then you probably shouldn't use that and just stick to clicking on the shake. So now that we're here at Roslet, let's go ahead and get into our sort of very first money making method here. As I mentioned before, this is going to be a place where you're going to be doing a lot of farming, and predominantly it's going to be because of the mana rays and just how common they are. For the most part, you're going to be back and forth here, not only now that you have the steady rod, but also even when you have your trident. This is still going to be a great place to go ahead and farm for a lot of cash. Then you also have the ability of getting the nurse sharks and even the bull sharks that sell for a pretty decent amount of money. So right there, second cast out, and we've already got ourselves a mana ray on the line. With your steady rod, it's going to be super easy to go ahead and catch these. Just to go ahead and sort of show you here, we got the bull shark right here. If I go and sell this, it's going to sell for, let's take a look, 385 mana ray, which is completely regular. 916 kg is fairly common, to be honest. They can go a little bit lower than that, somewhere around the 700 kg, but this bad boy right here is going to sell for 2,751. So an easy 3k right there in literally just 2 casts. Now obviously keep in mind I am using a trident, so that's a little bit different. I'm sort of working with 150% luck. Now assuming at this point you've gone ahead and purchased a fish radar, which you can purchase this in pretty much any of the main camps. You can purchase it here at Roslet, over at Moosewood, any of the major islands. You can pretty much purchase a fish radar. Taking this out and then clicking is going to go ahead and show you all of the different fishing spots specifically for certain fishes if you're trying to complete maybe your bestiary. Now the popular spots to go ahead and farm for mana rays is exactly where I'm standing right now, which is inside of none of the squares. As you can see from the person that's standing behind me, the second famous spot is probably over there where he's standing with the Aurora Rod. A lot of people like to farm over here for the nurse shark. Honestly, not a bad idea, and you really can't go wrong with either side. So whatever you feel comfortable with or whatever is giving you better results, there is no wrong choice there. So do as you please at this point. Now from here, you're going to go ahead and farm until the point that you have, give or take, about 90 to 120k. I know that it seems kind of crazy, but it's actually really easy to go ahead and make that much amount of money in just about 2 or 3 hours of fishing here at Roslet. Search around for servers with people with 4 times server luck activated. They're actually pretty common, or you could just join my servers. I usually host them for anybody that joins me all the time whenever I'm actually farming, so you can also do that. But the reason that I mentioned that you need about 90,000 to 120,000 give or take is going to be because at this point now you have 2 options on what your next rod is going to be. You can either take the mythical rod route, which is going to require you to find one of the traveling merchants. You'll see it sort of pops up right up here where it says the ocean. It's going to say the traveling merchant, and then it'll say exactly what island he is in, which usually it's anywhere between Roslet to even Sunstone Island. At least that's for the most part where I see him bouncing constantly. Unfortunately, there is no merchant up right now, or else I would show you guys what that looks like, but it's super easy to find him. Basically, in any of these islands, all of these little camps right here where the merchants are, there's going to be a boat that's parked in the water, and the traveling merchant is going to be sitting on that boat with just a bunch of different rods and stuff and materials sitting on his boat that you can go ahead and purchase. This is where you're going to be able to buy your mythical rod for what I believe is 110,000. I could be wrong. It could be a little bit more than that, but I'm pretty confident that it's 110k. So just make sure that you guys are on the lookout for that. Now let's transition over to the second thing, and that is the whirlpool that is right next to me. If you remember, I said that you can get anywhere between 90,000 to 120,000. The 90,000 is because instead of going the mythical route, you could do like me and go straight to purchasing an Aurora fishing rod. This one is going to be a little bit more difficult for 2 reasons. First, you need to find the server that has the Aurora Borealis event active. This is not a very common thing. It's not something that a lot of people like to do because it does cost about 500,000 cash to be able to purchase the totem and activate this. So the vast majority of the time that people do Aurora Borealis, it's in private servers and they're usually invite only. But assuming that you hang out in the Discord long enough, you will be able to come across somebody that's hosting one. The catch is that whenever the Aurora Borealis is activated in the server, you need to make sure that a strange whirlpool whirlpool is available in that server while the Aurora Borealis event is activated. There's two types of whirlpool in the game. There is this whirlpool that if I jumped into right now, it would kill me. And then there is the strange whirlpool. You'll be able to tell the difference because there's sort of like sparks and stuff like coming out of it, kind of like a particle effect. If for some miracle you are able to get into one of those lobbies, you can jump inside of there. If you'd like to see my Aurora Rod video, you can go and check that out. I'll see if I put an eye up top right now. That way you can kind of see what it looks like inside of there and where you should be going to purchase the Aurora Rod for 90,000. Now we've made our way over to Sunstone Island because there's something else that I actually want to go ahead and show you guys. So just for reference, that is where the merchant camp is. Let's go ahead and climb up here, and we're going to make our way over to our good friend Merlin. Merlin is going to be somebody that's extremely useful for you guys, assuming that at this point in the video, you now have either an Aurora Rod or you have yourself a mythical rod. In this little hut right here, walk inside, you're going to find good old buddy Merlin. If we talk to him and we click on what can you do for me, he's going to give you two options. The option to either purchase power from him or the option to purchase luck. Luck is going to be 5,000 cash, and it is exactly what you think it is. It's going to be 10 minutes of luck, which is going to be extremely useful for those of you that are maybe doing, again, Aurora Borealis events or even a 4x server event. Or also if none of those are activated and maybe you're trying to fish some mythicals like colossal squids or something like that, which we'll get to later on in the video. And this also can help you out with your mana rate, but obviously it's going to cost you a little bit more at the risk of potentially either making more or losing out on that 5K. Now the power option is how you're going to be able to purchase enchant relics. So these little guys right here that you see me holding in my hand have a couple of different uses, but the most important one and the one that you should be worried about right now is going to be enchanting the rod. Let's assume that you did take the path of getting the Aurora Rod. You got extremely lucky. You ended up getting into a lobby and you purchased it. Your next goal is going to be to get some of these relics so that way you can purchase resilient enchant for that Aurora Rod. To accomplish this, it's going to be really simple. We're actually here still at Sunstone and it's fairly close to here. So let's jump back on our boat. Wrong side. Let's go to this side. And then right next door of Sunstone Island, you're going to see Statue of Sovereignty. If you make your way over to this island right here at the very front, you're going to see a shipwright NPC. Go ahead and jump off, climb up the ladder, and make your way over to the elevator. You're going to need 400 cash in order to be able to enter into here. Just talk to this little guy right here. Say, can I use the elevator? Then say how much. Pay him the 400, walk into the elevator, sort of move around your camera here a little bit. I don't know why, but the UI for this is kind of broken. Eventually, you're going to see this pop up that says elevator lever. Something extremely important about this is that you need to keep in mind that in order for this to work, it needs to be nighttime. So down here on the bottom right-hand side, right above your level, just keep an eye on that. Make sure that it's nighttime or else, unfortunately, you will not be able to enchant. You can hang out inside of here if you want to. There's actually a bestiary tab that needs to be completed in here, being the Keeper's Altar. So if you want to focus on that while you're waiting for nighttime, you can jump over here to the side. And even if we make our way back here right to the left side, as soon as you walk out of the elevator, there's a little section that you can jump down to and fish a little bit closer down here. And there also is the King's Rod, which is in here in case you're interested in that. Personally, I don't own the King's Rod. This is sort of one of those ones that I skipped, but you could potentially take this route if you really wanted to. It's 120,000, negative 45% lure speed, but 55% luck, 0.15 control, resilience 35% with a max kg of infinite. So this is a really good one. All fish caught are 15% bigger. Definitely a decent option, but again, not one that I used. Coming back over here to the enchants, make sure that again, it is nighttime. Once you're here, open up your inventory, click on your enchant relic, make sure that it's in your hand, and then press E, and you'll be able to go ahead and do your enchant. So let's now move on to the next area. Now at this point, you're fairly close to where I am in the game right now. Your next step is going to be to farm for another 150,000 cash, which assuming that you have Aurora or you have your mythical rod, then technically it should be fairly easy for you to go ahead and farm for that. At this point, you're going to want to go ahead and get started on grinding for your Trident Rod. For this, you will need to make your way over to Desolate Deep. Right outside of the Statue of Sovereignty, you're going to make your way over to the backside here and just keep going straight out into the ocean. You're not going to see anything except for a rock that's going to spawn on your right hand side here. You'll see it in just a second, and there it is. So this rock is going to go ahead and spawn. To the left side of that, there's going to be a buoy. In this case, you're probably going to see also a couple of ships sort of parked here, because this is going to be the entrance to be able to make your way into Desolate Deep. Now, to enter into here, you're only going to need a basic diving gear. Now, I'm going to be completely honest, I'm too lazy to go back to Moosewood, but if you were to head back to Moosewood, right by the shipwright guy on the right-hand side on the floor, for 3,000 cash, you can purchase the basic diving gear, or if you have an extra 15,000 to spare, you can also purchase the advanced one, which is the yellow one that I have on, for 15,000 right here in the center of the buoy. Once you have your diving gear on, just go ahead and jump straight down. You're going to see this hole in the ground here. Swim all the way down, and now we're going to make our way over to the pocket. So basically, once you're down here, you're going to see this sign that says stop. On the right side is where you're going to want to head. Swim through here past all these bombs. Make sure that you do not touch the bombs. They will explode and kill you. Once you reach this point over here, make a left-hand side, and you will see that there is another exit, and it'll say welcome basically to the Desolate Pocket. This is where you're going to spend a good amount of time. I'm not going to lie to you. This is going to take you a while. I got extremely lucky. And on top of that, I also had the funds to do a lot of server luck. But if you notice, there's a lot of people fishing here trying to complete their bestiary so that way they can get their trident. One of the requirements is to go ahead and 100% complete this portion, aside from also having 150,000 cash and 5 enchant relics that I showed you guys earlier, which you would purchase from Merlin. Now, obviously, you could get a friend that already has the bestiary completed, give him the 5 relics, and they'll be able to go ahead and open the gate for you to purchase it, so you don't technically have to complete it. But assuming that you're a solo player and you want to do it all by yourself, then that is one of the requirements. Now let's assume that you've gone ahead and completed all of that. You're ready to go ahead and purchase your Trident Rod. If we use the sleeping NPC as a reference point, make your way over here, climb up to the top, and we're basically going to make it to the little catwalk section here. At this point, there's going to be a rock formation in the front of you. Where you want to go is to the left side of that rock formation. Swim down all the way to the bottom. You're going to see a little tiny pocket here. You can swim through this and just basically make your way through it. Just kind of force your way here because it is kind of tight in here. And then eventually you will pop out inside of the secret cave, which is labeled as 3 question marks. Simple enough. You grab your enchant relics, put each and every single one of them on a pedestal, and this door is going to go ahead and open for you. I am not going to be wasting my relics to open in this again because I have no purpose opening it. But as soon as this door opens, behind it, you will find a conception conch on the left-hand side. So that way you can teleport out of here if you want to. And the Trident Rod will be at the very end. Nothing really too complicated. It's literally just a door with those things inside of it. If I remember, I'll go ahead and also put an eye up top on the right-hand side that you can click on to watch my Trident video if you want to see what that looks like inside. And yeah, man, at this point, now you are officially technically where I am. You're fully prepared to go ahead and really start grinding out the game, make a lot of money, make your way over to level 500, and you can technically now use a completely different spot instead of Roslet for money farming. So before we end off the video, let's make our way over there and I'll show you that really quickly. All right, so for this portion, we're going to make our way over to Snowcap Island. I'm not going to lie, man, this one's going to be a ways away. So if you don't really have a fast boat, for example, like myself, it's going to take you a little bit of time to get there, but trust me, assuming that there is Merlin luck available for you to purchase. And actually, dude, look, the traveling merchant just went ahead and arrived at Roslet. But anyways, here we are at Snowcap Island. Go ahead and jump off of your boat and make your way over to the merchant camp. Right behind the merchant's house, if you sort of walk all the way around this little edge here, you're going to cross paths with what is kind of like a little hidden cave. So again, keep walking back. There's the merchant over there. Keep walking around this corner here, and you're going to find this little cave right over here. This is where I like to hang out a lot. And if you notice, a lot of people also like to hang out here as well. I'm going to be honest, it isn't worth it to come here unless you have either an Aurora Rod with an Aurora Borealis event activated, or if you have a Trident Rod, then it's definitely worth it to come here. This is going to be the place where you catch colossal squids. You've probably seen a lot of people catching these, especially the higher levels, but you definitely want to make sure that you have either Merlin's Luck activated or the 4 times server event. Obviously, if Aurora Borealis is activated, then you definitely want to be here. But instead of using your Trident Rod, you're going to obviously want to be using the Aurora Rod. If we take a little bit of a further step back here, this is also going to be one of the locations where there is a totem available. So if you sort of take this quick little path up here, jump on this little ledge, and jump up here to the left-hand side there, you're going to see for 2,000 cash, the Windset totem. I'm going to be honest, I probably should have shown you guys the location of all the other totems while we were in those areas. So we're just going to fast travel around really quick, and I'll show you where each and every one is as quick as possible because this video has already stretched out way too far. Coming back over here to the Desolate Pocket, I'm going to show you guys really quickly where to get the Aurora totem. First of all, you're going to need yourself a glider. It's 900 cash. You can purchase it right up here. Then make your way over here to the left-hand side where it says Phantom Ray, assuming that you have the fish radar activated. Go ahead and climb up here, cross the little plank, jump across and open your glider to land on this ledge, then jump across and open your glider again to land on this ledge and climb all the way up. Up here, you're going to find not only the totem, but you're also going to find the brine pool, which if you're into potentially going after the spectral serpent, this is where you will be able to go ahead and fish that. Just keep in mind, in order to fish inside of here, you will need a reinforced rod, which you can purchase that when you're entering the Desolate Deep. Instead of going right, go left. But anyways, here's the brine pool. Over here, if you go ahead and sort of like squeeze through the wall here, it's kind of tight, but right there, you're going to find the Aurora totem. Again, like I mentioned before, this is 500,000 cash, so it ain't cheap. But either way, let's move on to the next one. All right, totally off topic. I decided to buy the jet ski. It's just so much faster. But anyways, the next one is going to be the Smokescreen totem. This one is going to be available at Mush Grove Swamp. Go ahead and travel around the backside of the island. You're going to see this sort of little walkway here. Climb up to the top, then go to the right hand side, and there is the Smokescreen totem for another 2,000. Now this next one is probably one that you've seen a couple of times. People use it a lot to like change the time of day, and it might actually be useful if you're trying to enchant and maybe get nighttime. But this one is going to be the Sundial. In order to be able to go ahead and purchase, come to the Sunstone Island again, climb up that ladder like if you're going to purchase from Merlin, but instead of going to the left side where Merlin is, over here on the right behind this giant rock right here, it's going to be a ledge that goes down to the bottom right around here, and then just drop down, go all the way down the ladder, and to the left hand side you're going to find the Sundial for 2,000 cash. I'm actually going to purchase 2 of these because I need them. And now for the final one, we're going to make our way over to Terrapin Island. As soon as you arrive here, you're going to see a barrel right here on the left hand side. It's kind of like a barrel and some rocks on the side. Go ahead and jump off of your boat, swim down to the bottom. You're going to find a little cave here. Follow along with this, climb up to the top, and you will see right here the Tempest totem will be available for you. And that's it, man. That is basically everything that I want to go ahead and share with you guys so far. If you want to see a follow-up video of this, I know this one was a little bit longer. I could squeeze a lot of other things in here, but if you want to see maybe like a tips and tricks video, I feel like I could fit a lot more. I just sort of wanted to make one quick video explaining to you guys on how I got from point A to point B in such a short period of time, and hopefully this works out for you guys. If you have any questions whatsoever, let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed the video and it helped you out, make sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel. That's gonna do it for this one. Like always, I will see you guys in the next one. Take care.